here. So I'm so sorry. It has been so long since my last video. I guess I just got caught up with life and doing things. I'm a busy mom. I have two boys. A video for you guys today just to show you what's kind of been really popular over the last few months that I've seen is just a very highlighted, very glowing, fresh complexion, looking very awake. And I've seen it as strobing or how to strobe your makeup. And I really love it because as a mom, somebody who's on the go all the time, I don't have a lot of time and I don't have all the time to do that highlighting and contouring and bronzing and perfection and sculpting. So having a more natural kind of strobed effect is going to be a lot more ideal for me when I'm on the go. So if you would like to know how I got this look and you're interested in how I like to highlight and sculpt my face, then definitely stay tuned and keep watching. Anyway, so I've already prepped my skin, and drinking coffee is probably not helping, but I love coffee. So I've already cleansed my skin. I actually did a mask this morning. I've been using a lot of Mario Badescu products, and this is one of my favorites. Their facial spray with rose water and aloe and herbs, and it's phenomenal. I think it smells great if you like that smell. Before I start my foundation, I've already put this on. This is actually more of a primer, even though it's called an anti-aging awakening serum. This is Feel the Moment from It Cosmetics. And this stuff is phenomenal. It goes on more of like a foundation primer, but you can use it as a moisturizer. I know a lot of women that like to use it at nighttime just because it helps to turn over your skin cells faster. So today I'm going to work with It Cosmetics CC Illumination. This is a full coverage anti-aging foundation. So I'm going to mix the illuminating version and then also the original formulation just because I feel like it just tones it down a little bit with some of the illumination. I wouldn't say that it's glittery personally because I've seen products that are like straight up Wet n Wild, cheap 99-cent glitter. This would be, I think, more of like a crystallized light finish. Anyway, the point is it's going to bring the light forward. It's going to highlight the skin. It's going to give it just an awesome glow. And what I also do to give you a drugstore version is I'm going to use True Match Lumi. And this is from Loreal. And this is going to have the same kind of more wet, dewy finish. It's a very sheer, I would say more moderate sheer coverage foundation. So if you're looking for a whole lot of coverage, it's probably not going to give you so much. But for a very dewy kind of glowing finish, I love it. The reason I'm going to mix it in with my two It Cosmetics formulas is because it has a little bit more yellow base to it. And the It Cosmetics I love, but they're just very neutral. So it's very rare that I can wear it just by itself without having to blend it with something. So I'm just going to take a pump of this medium. This is going to be the main base I'm working with. So I did kind of a pump and a half on the back of my hand. Now I'm just going to do a half of a pump of the darker color just to kind of bring the color a little bit deeper. And then, because this is so sheer, I'm actually just going to do a full pump of that just to kind of get that yellow base. I also want to tell you guys too, I forgot to say, if you decide to work with the Feel the Moment primer from It Cosmetics, you definitely want to make sure that you let it sink into your skin for about 5 or 10 minutes because it is a very slick product, but once your skin kind of drinks it up, it soaks in beautifully. And it doesn't really feel like you have too much on. I'm going to take a Real Technique stippling brush and I'm going to actually stipple this product onto my skin first. And the reason is I want to kind of lay the product on my skin, let it heat up with my natural heat in my skin and the natural kind of oils in my skin so that this way when I actually go to blend it in, it blends in a lot smoother. And I think just because, you know, if you start out by kind of stippling this product, it allows that kind of glow and illumination to really stay. I don't know, if you just go right into really harshly buffing it into your skin, I feel like you just lose that glow. Kind of low. Now I'm gently buffing. Again, not fully blending it out yet, just kind of making sure all the points in my face are getting a little bit more covered. And I felt, for me, I like to kind of get a little bit more coverage to it. So I'm just going to actually do a little bit more of my foundations just to get a nice full amount of coverage, because I do have some hot looking blemishes going on here. Gotta love hormones. And these are pretty good. I mean, the It Cosmetics says that it's a full coverage foundation. I still feel like sometimes I have to do 2 coats to really get the coverage I want. But I think it's more my skin. I do have quite a bit of redness in my cheek area, and I just like knowing I have that coverage. So now I'm going to take a beauty blender, and it's already been dampened, and I'm going to start pressing my foundation into my skin, and I'm kind of pressing and rolling and bouncing this back and forth on the skin to really keep the glow, keep it really luminous, but push it deeper down into my pores so that this way I have more coverage and it lasts with me. Okay, so I'm pretty much blended in. I feel pretty comfortable and confident with what I have on my face. And so the next step that I like to do personally, I'm going to actually use the NYX Mineral Set It, Don't Fret It. It's a matte finishing powder, but I'm not going to place it all over my face like I normally would. You can also use Infallible by Pro Matte. This is a pressed powder. Both of these are drugstore brands. They're both very affordable. Another product that I really love is Urban Decay's Naked Skin Loose Powder, which I'm actually out of, so that's why I'm going to use a drugstore brand today. And I love the Mineral Skin Finish from MAC Cosmetics. I think that's a beautiful powder. But I'm just going to actually take what's in the cap, which is a very, very little bit, and using your stippling brush, or you can even use a beauty blender, I'm just going to take whatever is in here and just dust along the side of my nose. I want to keep the center a little more powder free, but around the nose area I tend to get very oily, so I'm going to come around the sides and just kind of dust this on there. Dust it along the perimeter of my face where I know I'm not going to need a whole lot of glow, so maybe closer towards your hairline. And then also right at the top point of my forehead, I'm just going to kind of press this product in. And then right here at the top, because I'm going to be focusing my highlighter right in the middle. So if you kind of look at it like 3 different lines, you're going to do the top line, you're going to do the forehead by the brows line, and then leave this generally more open so you can apply your highlighter there. And then what I like to do is also go in, and I'm going to use a very fluffy brush. This is the Heavenly Luxe Jumbo brush from It Cosmetics. It's the number 3 brush. It's one of my favorites. And again, I'm going to take what's in this cap, whatever's left, and just dust along my neckline, because I want to make sure that all of this color is nice and even and nice and blended, but just keeping the center portion of my face unpowdered. Because you can see now, you can almost see without even having highlighter on, just where those more dewy, moist points of the face are. We want to really maintain that and keep it dewy. So we're going to close that down. The next thing I'm going to do is my concealer, and I brought a few. I actually have a sample left of my Bye Bye Under Eye from It Cosmetics. This is the Full Coverage Anti-Aging Waterproof Concealer. I absolutely love this. I'm down to the nitty gritty. I'm using my travel size because I just want to get to the last bit of it before I go and purchase another. But I usually purchase mine from Ulta, and I just love it. It comes with a brightener in it. It also has, your hydrolyzed collagen. your vitamin C and K. So it's definitely going to brighten. It's going to treat the skin over time. And it's just a beautiful product. I use the neutral medium shade, I believe. I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. Another one I love is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I tend to use NC30 just to go up a little bit lighter than my natural skin tone to brighten. And I should say two. I use two different colors from Maybelline, but this one particular product I love, and it's a great drugstore product, the Master Conceal Camouflaging Concealer from Maybelline. And I've used it in both, let's see, fair and light medium, depending on how bright I want to go to highlight with. But it's a great product and it dries very quickly. Another product I use is the Magic Lumi wand from Maybelline as well, and this is in nude. And I'm actually going to mix a little bit of this because it has a little more yellow, and the It Cosmetics is more neutral. So I'm going to mix these two just to get the perfect under eye color. And I'm just going to actually put this right under my eye, kind of up to the corner here. And I don't go right up to the lash line because I'm actually going to blend it upward using my beauty blender, but just to kind of almost make a triangular shape under the eye, so you're coming down this way and up towards the high point of the cheekbone, because again, this is where we're going to be highlighting mostly. So you want to kind of create a highlighted look, but we're not contouring this time. So you really want to blend this out well and blend it into the skin, because when you're not contouring and you have this huge amount of bright here and then nothing else to pull back the color, you know, it can look a little silly. So really blend it out well. I'm just going to go right into the forehead here, right above my brow, right down my nose here, a little bit on the sides here, and then just a dab on the chin. I have a fairly long face, so I don't want to pull down too much. But just kind of get yourself comfortable with the amount of coverage that you know you're going to want concealer-wise. You don't even have to do this much. I just like to really brighten my under eyes because my kids never let me sleep. So, okay, I'm going to let that sit for just a second. Perfect time to take a sip of coffee. Let it kind of heat up and cook on your skin. But we're going to take our beauty blender and we're going to just start tapping it real gentle and bouncing it. Go right up into the corner of the eye because you want this area here to be very bright. And I'm kind of pushing that concealer up into my lash line, if you can see that. Pushing it up towards the lash line. This way it's not getting too creased or too clumped. And just kind of pressing it and rolling it and pulling it down into my foundation so that it all blends out real nice. But again, it's really bright and lifted. For ultimately, you want to lift the eye and make it look less fatigued. Okay, so the next step is I'm actually going to take the stippling brush and just kind of make sure that everything's just gently blended out. You don't want to see any harsh lines. Okay, so now before we do anything else, I want to set my concealer. Normally I would use It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores, which is a translucent silk powder, but I've run out, so I'm going to use Makeup Forever, the HD finishing powder. It's a micro finish powder. I'm just going to tap a little into my cap here, and I'm going to use an old-fashioned sponge that I've also wet and gotten prepped, and I'm going to take that and dip this into the translucent powder and just start placing that underneath my eye, so that this way this will help to kind of heat up again the powder so that it melts into the skin without it appearing like white powder. And it's also going to help set your concealer so that it stays in place. This can get a little bit messy, so just be aware. And you can kind of keep packing this on almost as if you were like using flour and baking. But you just literally want to bake and cook this area so that this way it stays in place. And it's also going to be nice and bright after it sets in and you kind of blend it out, and it'll help to really brighten that under eye area. Okay, so I'm just going to do that area actually for myself today. You don't have to, again, do that second part. You can just do your under eyes, or you don't even have to set it this way. I just feel like it gives me longevity and allows my concealer not to crease, and it brightens and looks good. So actually, this is the part where you're going to kind of sit for a few minutes or maybe go on to the next step. This is where you want it to kind of sit, I guess, maybe like 3 to 5 minutes, even a little longer if you have the time. So now we're going to do like the magic camera trick, and I'm going to sit for a while, but I'm going to cut this out so you won't know that I'm sitting. Okay, so now my face is kind of cooked a little bit. We've allowed the translucent powder from Makeup Forever to kind of soak into the concealer and into my skin and really help with trying to set that concealer so that it doesn't look cakey or creasing. So what I'm going to do next is take a setting brush, and this is from Real Techniques. It's really affordable. I love their brushes, and to me, you get a really good quality considering the price point, and you're not spending, you know, $30 to $40 a brush. So this is a great brush, though. It's really good for around the eye and just, you know, very mild, simple setting that you're going to do with, say, a translucent powder, or even earlier you could use something like this when we dusted the sides of our nose and a few points on our face. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go in and actually start swiping this white powder away from the eye. And you just want to really make sure, you know, again, that you blend this out. Okay, and then what I also do is I sometimes go in again with a beauty blender. I'm just going to use the one that I actually used for my concealer and just press it in to make sure everything is blended, because sometimes, even though it says it's translucent powder, if you don't blend it out properly and a flash hits your face, if you're going out somewhere, you know, you're going to be taking a picture of any sort, not that, you know, we all have paparazzi following us around, but in my mind, I do. But yeah, so you're just gonna make sure that you really blend it out so that this way you don't see any kind of white on the face. So that's that. Now, the next thing I wanna do is get into the highlighting portion. I like to highlight before I put blush on. Usually if you do a strobing look, again, you're going to avoid any kind of contour unless you're very, you know, self-conscious. You need to have that contour on point, on fleek. Go, you know, by all means, go do what you have to do. But for me, I'm going to just work with a little bit of like a gel cream highlighter, and this is Benefit's Wax Up. And it comes with a little sponge point applicator, and it also, or blender, excuse me, and it also has the gel point on this. It's a more kind of moonstone opal-esque color, if you haven't seen it. But it's very, very pretty. It's very chic. When my skin kind of goes through more of a fair color phase as opposed to in the summer where I'm very bronze and warm, I like to use more moonstones and rose golds. And in the summer, I do more of like that tawny kind of bronzy, just real rich highlight, even a gold highlight. But do what works for you. But I'm going to actually take this and just kind of blend it on my finger. And if you smile and you see kind of the high point of the cheekbone here, this is in that area that you really want to focus that highlight. So I come about 3/4 of the way in, and I start here, and then I work up towards my temple area. And then I start to kind of pull down into the cheek area. So we're going to start with like a cream or a gel or even a liquid. I know there's some liquid highlighters out there. Clinique makes an illuminizer that I really like. And you're just going to kind of go into this area and start with this kind of liquidy cream base and then set it with a powder highlight. And come down the bridge of my nose. And mostly, don't go all the way up towards your eyes, just kind of start right here and then come down and then focus right on the tip of the nose where you know the light's going to kind of hit you the most, right in the Cupid's bow. A little bit on the chin. I even go sometimes under my lip, my bottom lip. Just to really kind of glow it out. Okay, so that is done. Now we're going to start going in with our powder highlighter. And I use this highlighter right here. This is the Hello Light. And it's wonderful because it does not have a lot of glitter to it. It's just a really nice crystallized glow on the skin. And I'm going to also retrace. I'm going to be a bit of a highlighting hula right now. I really love to glow. I feel like it's so feminine and so pretty and just gorgeous. And it's just, I don't know, it's fun. I'm going to also sweep a little bit on my lid, whatever's left, and just kind of use that as my base before I go and put my eyeshadows on. Okay, so the highlighting portion is done. Now what I like to do at the end is put on my blush, and I'm going to use Afterglow by Urban Decay, the 8-hour powder blush in the color Rapture. And this is just a really gorgeous kind of plummy color for the fall. I feel like it's just very pretty and flirty, and it reminds me of my grandmother. It just looks like a color that she would have worn. But I just love it. And again, Afterglow, so you know you're going to still have that glow, and it's not a completely mattified look, but it is long wearing, and a little bit of this goes a long way. So I'm actually going to apply it with my stippling brush. You can use a clean one, but I'm done using mine, so I'm just going to put that on, and I'm just going to tap it into the product and swirl it around, tap out the excess, and even press a little bit on the back of my hand just because I don't want to have too much blush on. And I'm going to smile big, find my apples, start in the apple, and just kind of press it in. I really want to have a natural flush with my blush. Just go a little bit to the tip of the nose and the lips. Just where you would kind of almost naturally flush a little bit. So, and so that's basically it as far as the highlighting and stippling. What I usually do after that is I give myself another spritz. You can use Fix Plus from MAC just to kind of break up any kind of powders or foundations to make sure it doesn't look too cakey or too streaky. I like using Maribadeshi because it's $7. You can't go wrong for this nice size bottle, and it's going to give you a nice refreshment after you've put everything on your face. So let's do that real quick. An X and a T generally covers the whole face. So we're going to let this kind of sit for a bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and I'm going to put my eye makeup on and finish up the rest of my face. And then, okay, so this is the completed look, and it's very wearable, very doable in my opinion. If you don't want to take it to this extreme, you know, again, you don't have to worry about the brows, you don't have to go crazy with the eyeshadow. The main point of this was to talk about strobing and highlighting and just the beautiful effects that you can get on your skin, and how you can kind of wear a more breathable look, have your natural skin still come through. It's not completely airbrushed and perfect and high def, but it's, you know, to me it's flirty, it's fun, it's pretty. And to me that's what strobing and essentially highlighting is all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more, and also comment down below. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like. I'm pretty open that way. If you want to diss me, peace. So yeah, if you liked it though, definitely I would love to hear your feedback, and if there's anything that you want to see or learn more about, definitely let me know. And I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching.